Tonight, we also bring you the full inside story of a political resignation that's shaken the heart of India's constitutional system. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar, he stepped down, and his exit is not just shocking, it's historic as well. A resignation rooted in deep distrust, constitutional ambiguity, and a showdown with the government he once stood beside. This isn't just about one man stepping aside. This is about how a controversial impeachment motion, sharp legal interpretation, and growing political friction led to a dramatic midnight resignation. Let's start at the core of this controversy: the motion to remove Justice Verma, a sitting High Court judge. The opposition submitted a notice of motion for his removal under Article 217, Subclause 1B, and Article 124, Subclause 4 of the Constitution, along with Section 3, Subclause B, Part B of the Judges Inquiry Act 1968. That motion, signed by 63 opposition Rajya Sabha MPs, was taken up and read aloud by none other than Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar in his capacity as the Rajya Sabha chairperson. Listen in to what Dhankhar said that particular day.
That I have received notice of motion under Article 217, 1B, read with Article 218 and Article 124, Sub-Article 4 of the Constitution of India, along with Section 31B of the Judges Inquiry Act 1968, to constitute a statutory committee for removal of Justice Verma, Judge of the High Court of Judicature at Rajasthan, at Allahabad. This has been received by me today. It is signed by more than 50 members of the Council of States, and thus it meets the numerical requirement of signing by members of Parliament for setting in motion a process for removal of a High Court judge.
Now, this single act triggered a massive constitutional and political backlash. And here's where the legal technicalities come in, because they do matter. Under the Judges Inquiry Act, a judge's removal motion must be submitted by at least 100 Lok Sabha members of Parliament or 50 Rajya Sabha MPs. But submitting the motion isn't enough. The presiding officer of that particular house must admit the motion for it to move forward. Only then can a 3-member inquiry committee be formed, comprising 2 judges and 1 jurist, to examine the charges. And here's the twist. The Act says if the motions are submitted in both the houses on the same day, no committee can be set up unless both houses admit the motion. So when Jagdeep Dhankhar publicly declared in the Rajya Sabha that the Rajya Sabha motion meets the numerical requirement, the government was pretty much stunned, because at the same time, the Union Law Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal had confirmed that over 100 MPs in the Lok Sabha had submitted a separate motion. Now, whether Jagdeep Dhankhar had merely acknowledged submission or actually admitted the motion became the constitutional flashpoint. From the government's point of view, Jagdeep Dhankhar had jumped the gun. Sources say the centre wanted the Lok Sabha to take up the motion first. That would have left Jagdeep Dhankhar, chair of the Rajya Sabha, without any role in selecting the 3-member judicial panel. By moving first in the Rajya Sabha, Dhankhar ensured the upper house got a say. To the government, it felt like a deliberate political maneuver, one that favored the opposition's strategy. Remember, 63 opposition signatories in that particular impeachment motion that was moved in the upper house, in the Rajya Sabha, which was also read aloud by Jagdeep Dhankhar. And this wasn't the only point of contention, because with 2 days now having passed, sources say Dhankhar had stopped sharing key decisions with the centre. He began ignoring inputs from senior ministers and even criticized members of the cabinet, a rare break in protocol for someone holding a constitutional post. The Prime Minister, we're told, was not pleased. Meanwhile, the government quietly began mobilizing for an even bolder move. a no-confidence motion against Dhankhar himself. NDA members of parliament were contacted and told signing was optional. Those who signed were grouped and secretly briefed by the senior ministers on the rare and sensitive process of moving a no-confidence motion against the sitting vice president. The plan here was to table it the very next day in the Lok Sabha. But Dhankhar got wind of the government's plan. In a dramatic midnight move, what we're learning, he rushed to the Rashtrapati Bhavan without informing the government. After waiting for 25 minutes, he met President Draupadi Murmu and handed over his resignation letter himself. A high-stakes political confrontation was suddenly over. No debate, no vote, just a quiet but seismic exit. Jagdeep Dhankhar's resignation isn't just about internal dissent. It's about how constitutional procedures can be weaponized in political power struggles. Sources now reveal that the government is all set to bring a no-confidence motion against Justice Verma in the Lok Sabha first. A high-level meeting attended by Home Minister Amit Shah, Speaker Om Birla and Deputy Chairman Harivansh found that the notice read out by Jagdeep Dhankhar in the Rajya Sabha, which we just played out for you, was technically flawed. Withdrawal or correction options were explored at that meeting. And as of tonight, the Vice President's post lies vacant. But the ripples of this crisis are far from over. So what's next? A formal election must be held within the next 60 days to fill the vacancy. But beyond procedure, this resignation leaves behind serious questions about institutional checks, political overreach, and the fragility of balance between constitutional offices and the executive. Decoding Jagdeep Dhankhar's resignation, the full inside story of a political resignation that shook the heart of India's constitutional system.